been going on for a long time. And as we already know, already this year, there have been hundreds of thousands of people who have left their countries and fled, mainly to Europe. And we know that these people, it's no joke, they are fleeing for their lives, aren't they?
Well, they're fleeing, and literally, the only way they are going to remain alive, and that's their opinion. And some people may think, well, why don't they just stay? Why don't you just help them? It's my thought on that. But they really are running for their life right now.
Wow. And it just made me think, wow. And unfortunately, refugees fleeing for their life, it's not new.
No.
It's not new. But I have to say this. Why does it feel like certain countries are trying to make the Syrian refugee crisis more sinister just because there's so many people that are fleeing at once? Why is that?
Well, it makes the narrative easier, so that when you're doing negative things or you're not supporting it, it makes it easier for people to say, oh, well, okay, we agree with why you're not supporting it. Because they may be terrorists that are going to come over and one day, sleeper cell and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too, and that's just starting to annoy me, because I ain't been funny. Right now, look, we have intelligence services, isn't it? MI5, MI6, and FBI, and whoever else, CIA, whatever it is, that are working on that. That's a whole new something else. Why are they trying to bring that into innocent people, children, parents, trying to flee for their lives? Who does? Why would they do that? They're trying to mix them in together, and it's completely different.
Well, if they want to get here, I'll put it this way. If someone wants to get here for whatever the case may be, from terrorism and things like that, they can find a way to get here.
Exactly.
Being part of that group of people that are running for their lives, the people that may come to do harm or coming over for terrorist acts, they don't want to spend 3 months living in squalor and possibly getting killed to get here secretly.
Exactly. Hello. They have other ways and means of doing it in their own comfort zone. They don't need to find a way to do it to make it look so. Sometimes I really wonder about some people's thought process, because you just think, really, this is what you're going to bring up at a time like this, when you see on the news literally hundreds of thousands of people. I saw it again yesterday and the day before. They're talking about between 4,000 and 6,000 people that are entering those countries, Croatia, Serbia, whatever, in a day. I've never seen anything like it. That is a mass exodus on a grand scale. People have run and are running still for their lives. As I said earlier, every step they take is a step of danger, because they don't know where they're going, and half of them don't know where they're going to end up. And I have to say, though, Link 24, K-Rose, I found this online. And it just goes to show, as I said already, that there are people wanting to donate to the refugees. And I saw this because this is local to me. And I thought, oh, wow. It was saying donate to the Blue Mountains Refugee Support Group. And I thought, wow, there's so many support groups out there. This is just obviously one of, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, that are out there. And you just think to yourself, that is where people should be concentrating themselves. Obviously, if you're not in those European countries and you're not seeing the exodus for yourself in situ, as it were, these are the ways that you can try and help if you're in another country, obviously UK, wherever else it may be. You will be donating, won't you? You'll be taking stuff to food banks and clothes banks and things like that, trying to do your little bit. And it just made me think, that's what we should be concentrating on, the humanitarian side, the compassion side, the help and giving side.
Right, and that's why it's interesting to me that countries like, the UK and countries Canada and the US and other countries, we're not bordered with Turkey. And so we are not seeing these people coming in today. Or as easily, but like you said, those organizations that are putting monies together to help to make sure these people are fed and they're out of the elements, that's an important thing to do.
Absolutely. And if you can help out there, and that you've got a room or money or clothes or whatever you can do, I'm sure you will be kind enough to do it, because whatever you can do to help somebody, God forbid it happened to you, you would want someone to help you, wouldn't you?
Right. I mean, we had the same thing happen. Like I said, there are people that Big Red, who is one of the other personalities, the reason he lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now, he lives in Arlington. The reason he's here is because of Katrina, which just had a 10-year, there was the anniversary of the Katrina event here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then now back then I remember seeing that sometimes they felt that they had been left to their own devices and they didn't get the help that they needed because, oh well, it's just a town and it's this is what I heard they said. So don't quote me as saying this is what I heard, that they said, oh well, it's just black people and we don't really need to go out of our way to help them.
I'm going to quote you on that. Okay.
That's what I heard, though. And I remember thinking, if that really is how they thought, because obviously I wasn't there. I don't live in that town. I don't know what happened. But this is what I kept seeing on the stories that people were telling. We got left on our roofs for days. That's what they said.
Well, and I think that was some of the problem was because the way that city was destroyed and the response to it, the people that had money again, they did a report on one of the hospitals that was there, the hospital that basically was a total charity hospital. All they did was help people in need. They were evacuating people, and they did what they could to keep everybody stable, and they evacuated people, and there was a hospital down the street where they found that, okay, we can get some people out. We can helicopter some people. So they were taking people down the street. I'm not sure how long it was, but they transported them, by beds, rolling the beds down the street to take them to the rooftop of this other building.
Oh, my God.
And I think it was a hospital or close to another hospital. Well, as these helicopters were coming in to take these patients out that needed to be transported to other hospitals because they were in dire need. Instead of doing it per the seriousness of the person that was there, regardless of which hospital, whether it was the private hospital or the charity hospital, instead of saying, okay, let's look at both sides and everybody that needs critical care, let's get them out first. They got all the private hospital patients out first. And some of the people that were from the charity hospital who were in critical condition died waiting because some other person who could walk or have a broken leg from the private were unable to go. And so it happens everywhere. And yes, there were instances where that came down to money and color again. And so, there were some things where they did say, oh, well, we got buses for you guys. So y'all need to get to the buses. Well, the highways were packed. They couldn't get to the buses because the buses ended up being flooded. It was just a complete mess. And it did have something to do with color.
Oh, my God. And I must say this, I have seen, again on the news, I mean, you don't see these things very often, so when you catch them, it does hit you right between the eyes. There was a guy that was talking to the media, and he was saying, listen, if I was a Western person, I would be helped. He said, but because I'm a Muslim and I'm Arabic, or, he said, I'm left here to suffer, because he was I think he was in Greece, and he was trying to get over and he didn't have no money, and he said, I've got no money left, and I won't be able to pay another people smuggler again, and all this. He said, and this is why I'm struggling and suffering, because where they were, even though they weren't persecuting them obviously in Greece the way that they may have been so much more in Hungary, he said they're not really helping them. He said because they can't work, because obviously they're treating them as illegal immigrants, so they can't get papers to work, they can't go and find a job to be able to buy food and whatever. So he said we're suffering for that reason, because they don't want us here and they're not going to help us to move on either. So he's sort of stuck in no man's land, and he was saying, because I am an Arabic and I'm a Muslim, this is why I am suffering. I'm being left to suffer. That's what he said.
And it's the truth.
Yeah. We're going to say it like it is. It is true. People, we know you're listening out there. We know what you're thinking. So please, keep on sharing and letting us know at Ask Avani Show. This is the place to be. Because we are talking about the things that are going on right now. As we speak, even now, I'm seeing it on the news again. They're up to more foolishness in their Hungary and places like that, saying, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And they're putting more soldiers on the borders, and they're reinforcing the borders with all this wiring, all this, what do they call that?
The barbed wire for the fence.
That's it, yeah, the barbed wire. And I was like, oh, my God. Again, you people just don't get it. As we've said, they're spending all this money on trying to keep them out. Hello? They just want to pass. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this today. They just want to pass through. Oh, my God. Sometimes I have to ask myself, but Link 25, Carols, I need to mention this, because you know what? When I saw this article, I just thought, again, this is what I mean about the journalistic approach to reporting on crisis like this. It really makes me think, okay, hold on. Because Link 25, it says, are these happy young men really timid souls fleeing war and persecution? And you know why the media are portraying them as not really refugees? Because they saw them taking photos when they got to Greece, you know, like...
Selfies?
Yeah, selfies. Taking selfie group photos when they were on the Greek island of Lesbos, it was. They decided that, oh, well, you lot can't be that stressed if you've got time to sit there taking selfies together. Hello? I think they were probably so grateful to be able to touch dry land and to say, yes, we made it. That's probably why they took the photograph to relive the moment of being alive.
Right. I mean, if there are people back in, you know, the days of America when people would cross from your great country and they would come here and see the Statue of Liberty and come in, if we had cell phones at that time, they would have been taking selfies in front of the Statue of Liberty on the boat. Period.
Hello. That doesn't mean that they're not refugees. It doesn't mean that they're not still fleeing persecution and war. Hello. It just means that they, at that moment in time, this is a moment in time that you have caught on camera where they are smiling, and they could, if you looked around and put them with all the other holiday makers, you might think that they are just normal tourists, but they're not.
Well, it's called relief.
Yeah, hello. It's a relief that we alive. We made it. We touched dry land. And we all did it. We managed to do it together, because I'm sure maybe not all of them knew each other before they got to that place, but they will know each other now because they got that shared experience, isn't it, of getting to dry land. I mean, sometimes you have to ask yourself about the way that people report things, and it just trying to make people look bad, or you're not really a refugee. Even up to today, earlier on, actually, on the news, I saw one of those reporters. She was talking to these two little 12-year-old twin brothers, and they're so cute. They were so articulate, and she was saying to them, and she was asking everybody this, and I was starting to get annoyed. I think, why do you keep asking people this question? Because she kept saying, why is it that you have passed through all these so-called safe countries and you haven't tried to stay and claim asylum there? And they're all looking at her like, what are you having a laugh? None of those countries are really safe, because realistically, they don't want us there. So we're not safe there, so we have to, and obviously getting to Europe, those are the countries of the corridor of Europe, isn't it? So we have to pass through there to be able to get to safer countries such as Austria, Germany, wherever.
Right.
But she kept pushing this point, trying to say to them, why didn't you stay in another country? Because basically what they're saying is if you come into these countries and they deem you to be an economic migrant, you know they're going to send you back to your country.
Well, but then how do they even get you back? That's the thing that I don't think is being discussed either.
Oh, they'll find a way to fly people back if they think, oh yeah, we're going to send you back to where you say you come from, and if we don't deem that to be a country that's at war, then we are definitely going to find a way to send you on your way back there. Even after all the experience you've been through to get to somewhere else, they're going to send you back. Can you believe that?
But I need that explained to me also, and I guess I'll do some research on that after the show. The people that they're supposedly going to send back, it's like the United States deports somebody back to wherever, and I guess they put them on a plane, and when they get to the country, they just, okay, bye, get off the plane,
okay,
find a way to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, okay, bye, literally, that's what they're going to do.
How do you do that in Syria, though?
No, but you see, no, they can't do that in Syria.
Right.
It's not countries like Syria that they want to send them back to. If they deem that you've come from somewhere like, I don't know, India, somewhere where there's no war, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they're saying it's places where we deem that you have left, but you are not under that type of persecution. So there's no war, there's no famine, there's no things like that. So if we think you are an economic migrant looking to find a better way of life and earn more money, we're sending you back to your country if it's not somewhere like Syria, because obviously they know they can't do that. That's bad.
Okay. Now I can see that. But
people are going to start lying, though. You know that, innit? People are going to start lying and saying, "No, I'm from Syria." If you can pass for someone from Syria, Afghanistan, or somewhere like that, you're going to start telling lies.
But it's just a big mess, and it's a big mess. And what we're talking about is that people are trying to get to a better life, and whether that's Latino people here in the coming to the United States, they're trying to seek a better life, a safer life, because of what's happening with drugs and things like that, and the possibilities of those things in Mexico with drug wars, and we fund the drug war because we're over here taking the drugs and buying the drugs. So
that's it's a whole new show, isn't it? So something else again. Ooh, Link 26 though. Okay, Rose, I have to say it right. See, these governments, they get themselves in a right 2-8, as we say over here, state, about things when they keep trying to say,